Article 27. It goes against the Nuremberg Code. We have freedom of rights, and when a government becomes destructive to those rights, is when we need...
Please pay attention to me for a moment.
Yes, officer? Directions are
You are being given a warning. Please disperse into groups of 10 and remain socially distant at 1.5 metres.
Directions and directions need consent. Now, what the only law is that if an officer, we do not have to give our details. By law, the police must give their details. And unfortunately, each and every one of them...
Be ashamed of yourself. You really should. So we'll hold this
Me. What has been the feedback so far from the public with your wonderful work?
The feedback is everybody is very concerned about their rights and their freedoms, and this is essentially what it's about. They will create any erroneous reasons. This is the politicians and their government workers, who are a very small part of the population, 1% of the population, to use violence against the public, even to meet in public, and how dare they to tell us what to do and say, using the law for violence, using public money and government workers, and it's worldwide, it's not just Australia. So the public is 99% and the government is 1%. We outnumber them 99 to 1. So we really need to continue to get out in public with our signs every day of the week, anywhere, cities, towns. The 1st of July we're organising big protests. We are not going to publish the locations, because what they've done today here, the 30th of May, Melbourne Botanical Gardens, they set up 2 blockades, the Nazis did, one on this side and one on the other side near the information centre, to stop people coming through. They've got an army of government people here to destroy free speech and freedom of assembly.
They certainly do. It's horrific what's taking place. Police brutality. We've seen law enforcement on horseback. They're trying to intimidate and threaten the public. They're using scare tactics, and it's unacceptable. We've seen people bleeding from the skull at a previous protest. They're using every measure necessary to keep everyone in control, when all we're doing is assembling peacefully and raising awareness on a subject that definitely deserves attention, isn't it? What's your take on that?
The subject itself, the erroneous reason the government is using the coronavirus, I have already published government patent documents dating back to 1984. If you look at the World and European patent site and put in the word coronavirus, it comes up with over 13,000 government patents that they have been creating and experimenting with this word since 1984. Some of those documents refer to details in the 1970s. And this is Europe, the United States and China, the politicians and the globalists. So they want to enforce human slavery through a fake reason to enforce a forced injection, a government injection being a vaccination. They're trying to, in the future, they will enforce a microchip of humans. So half the world's population, if you're Christian or a free-thinking person, half the world's population will be put into government slavery by the other half. So this not just affects Australians, it affects half the world's population, because half the world will actually accept it. Half the world will be happy to accept it and half the world won't. So if you're in the half that doesn't want to be forcibly injected with a chemical compound by the government, regardless of what they say it is, then that's huge, highly problematic for half the world's population.
100%. Well, look, you've done a sensational job at these events. We need more people actively participating, raising awareness, using every resource necessary to highlight this and take back our freedom, rights and liberties.
And these guys do a wonderful job too. I've been looking at some of their videos, We Are Change Melbourne, and other media services like The Unshackled and other independent media services, which really, the independent media services need to take control of the studios in Australia, the media studios, the corporate media studios like Channel 7, Channel 9, even the ABC. They need to be given to independent media people who have objective critique and analysis of public issues and government issues, and because that's the media's role, to actually criticise the government, not promote its violent agenda.
Most certainly. Thank you very much. Joining me is Massimo. He has been attending many protests, raising awareness to the corruption that's taking place. The more they keep pushing for a new world order, the more we've got to keep pushing back, isn't it right?
Exactly right, mate. We're at that time in this time of age that we need to wake up and do something about it. Otherwise, it's irreversible after that, I think. We can't do nothing after that, I reckon.
That's right. People have lost their jobs, marriages, their financial capacity to look after their loved ones has taken a direct hit. People won't be able to recover from this, will they?
No, I don't think so. I mean, there's a lot of businesses out there who have to catch up on their rent, have to pay their employees. I lost my job because of this as well, so I'm out there looking for work as well. I'm struggling. Mate, one job, you might have thousands going for it, and it's really hard these days as well, So
exactly right. The measures that they're taking are very tyrannical, and it's not geared towards protecting people and the prevention of COVID-19. It's very destructive, isn't it?
it is. The government just don't care about us at all. They see us as second-class citizens. We're probably scum to them. They're control freaks, man. That's what they want to do. We've had enough. I've had enough. I mean, I don't want to include myself in society anymore. I'd rather be out of it. I'd rather be a loner, and that's the way I'm going to run my life now, I think.
Unfortunately, it's a drastic measure, but that's what people are choosing, to get off grid, try and be self-sufficient because they're sick of the tyranny. They're sick of being controlled, being prisoners in their own home. This is completely unfair. What would you say to someone pushing a mandatory COVID-19 vaccine?
Okay, you need to do your research. There's no point in just listening to everything you're being told. Do your research. It's just like school. A teacher's going to give you an assignment. How are you going to get the answers? You've got to go and research it. And when you research, you know exactly what to do after that. And then you know what to do in your future. You can sort of move things around. But if you're just walking around aimlessly, you're going to hit walls. And it's just like this. If you see a house and you open the door and it's dark inside, why won't you walk in there? Because you don't have the knowledge. You don't know what's in there. Until you shine a little bit of light, you can see what's going on, then you can start making a decision and take that step.
Excellent comparison. Will appear as a homicidal murderer by the name of Bill Gates. And everything that's linked to depopulation, there's his money. He's investing straight in it. There's enough evidence to try this man for mass murder. Would you agree?
There's too much evidence. There's so much. It's all over the internet now. You can just go in and have a look at it. It's all there. And you'll be shocked at what you see. Really shocked.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you very much for joining me. It's a powerful interview. We need more people to attend events, rallies and protests like this, conduct themselves in a peaceful manner and raise awareness. Thanks again.
Thanks, Jeff. Good on you, mate.
Joining me is Josh and Novi, raising awareness for the Great Awakening, getting their word out, explaining the corruption that's taken place at the moment. Everybody's suffering because of COVID-19. Thanks for joining me. What compelled you to get out here amongst it all and highlight the corruption?
The corruption, really. What's happening in our world, where it's going is a scary place for all of us to consciously think of, like, especially in rights of freedom, like words of freedom, like where is that going in general, and are we going to have the same rights we have in in the next few years to come.
Absolutely. Our rights and liberties are being taken from us at a very alarming rate. We have to raise our voices now before we don't have one left. What's your take on the mandatory vaccinations, the COVID-19 vaccine that they keep pushing relentlessly?
I think it's extremely tyrannic, and people need a choice, because there's a lot of people who will not handle the toxins they put in. Myself, I've had a bad experience with pharmaceuticals, and it's absolutely frightening to think that they want to mandate medicine. And I can't even imagine the people with vaccine injured children, how they would feel at this point.
And just on that too, sorry, like, what do you even know what's in it? Like, the tests have shown, obviously what they said up there earlier, that it doesn't work for everyone, and they're trying to mandate this on people like us, me, you, and everyone else. So, yeah, we've got to be doing something.
Absolutely. They're gambling with people's lives. It's all about depopulation. And people with a weakened immune system, they can be struck down. It can even be fatal. This is very scary. What, apart from turning up at this event, have you done to raise awareness in your communities?
Nobody's printed out these at today.
I've been doing letterbox drops and putting them on people's cars. It's just a big map with lots of different topics that there are different pathways that you can research, and when you get informed you can realize how they all connect, and they're trying to hide us from these topics, because if we know about it, then we will not tolerate what they're trying to do right now.
Absolutely. I applaud the initiative. Getting out in your local area, talking about the tyranny that we're all experiencing. Everybody is suffering at the moment. And it's not just the vaccines, some of the information covered, secret space programs. The public have a right to know what's going on. All these programs are taxpayer funded, and that information shouldn't be kept secret from people. And there will be a great awakening happening. The more the government slips up with the crimes that they're committing, the more people will be awake. Skeptical people are starting to awaken in droves, aren't they?
Most definitely. Even for the future too, like as me and Novi were speaking prior to this, this media conversation, I'm kind of scared to have kids even. Like, I'd love to have kids in a sense, and like, that's in amongst my fear of what are they going to go through in our generations to come, and yeah, it's all happening now, so...
Absolutely, and that's a very understandable fear to have, because you see sudden infant death syndrome. In Europe they call it cot death. In fact, what it is vaccine-induced death syndrome, and they write it off. A child has a vaccine and within 24 hours they're lifeless, motionless.
They're not willing to be liable for it. Why is medicine mandated that they're not willing to be liable for?
Absolutely.
Most definitely.
And a lot of the lawsuits are settled out of court. They're not published in the media, so people aren't aware of just how many people are being struck down. It's happening on an industrial scale, and if people were aware of just how many people are suffering because of vaccine damage, then people would be reluctant to get themselves vaccinated, or their families as well. Well, look, I appreciate both of you turning up today, highlighting some of these crucial matters that everybody should be discussing. Is there any final thoughts you'd like to leave with the viewers?
Stay peaceful and spread love, man. Just keep it rolling.
Excellent. Thank you both.
Thank you.
So joining me is Les. He has been very vocal, raising awareness of the corruption that's taking place at the moment with COVID-19.
Correct.
Thank you for joining me. So, explain to the viewers exactly how long you've been studying the tyranny that's taking place, and how many people you've reached out to, and what you've done to raise awareness in the community.
Okay, look, listen, I am actually I came from Poland 30 years ago, so I know exactly what communism means. I lived through these times. And unfortunately, when there's a communism, there is no debate. There's only one line show everywhere. It's basically propaganda, and that's exactly what we have here. The worrying part is that before it was just a local communism, which was in Eastern Europe. Now it's the global one, and unfortunately people should wake up, because I understand the Aussies, I understand people around the world who never had contact with the communists. They have no idea what's going on, because they believe everything what the mainstream media says. But unfortunately, That's all untruth. We all know that all those governments make decisions based on Imperial College models and IHME models, which both of those organizations are sponsored by Bill Gates. We know that those organizations say that 70% of the population will be infected and 6.5 or 6.6% of those people die, which makes millions of people dying. And I understand that at the beginning, when nobody knew what's going on, the government actually took the action. Okay, and I wrote emails to Poland and I said, listen, I'm proud of my government because they are supporting people. But now, when we know that all this was just fabrication and fake news, and even those organizations like Imperial London College, and they say that they make mistake by 20 times. In fact, they make mistake probably by 50 times or 60 times. It's just ridiculous, and the government keeps going with it.
Exactly. The propaganda is extreme. They keep spreading fear, misinformation. They want everyone controlled. They want the whole population taken over and following directions. It's a tyrannical communist takeover, and people are scared. They're buying into the fear. What would you say to people that are afraid and they're buying into the fake news of this COVID-19?
Look, it's very difficult to send a message because obviously all the social media, it's blocked by YouTube or or any of those social media. So it's very difficult to reach to people. All what we have to do is basically we have to talk to people, we have to educate them, we have to say, listen, there is another side to the story. There's never only one side to the story. There's always two sides to the story. So we just have to talk. We have to be patient, and we have to basically say to people, listen, don't panic. Don't stay home all the time, because if you stay home, you're just killing yourself, Don't listen to the stupid government who is actually destroying people's life. We have thousands of people killing themselves, committing suicides because of those decisions, and nobody's talking about it. But all of you can hear in the news that 92 years old lady died of COVID-19, which we don't know if it was COVID-19 or not. It's just ridiculous. We all know it's about control. People, we all know it's about control. It's about making you slaves, and on top of it, change your DNA and other shit.
Exactly. Well said.
Careful.
Operation Mockingbird is in full effect. It has been since the 70s. Population control is their goal. Be aware of the misinformation being spread. Use critical thinking when it comes to mainstream media, because it's all fake news.
Don't watch it. If anyone wants to see real news, you have to go to beatshoot.com, www.beatshoot.com. What media show from the last protest, which was on Mother's Day in Melbourne, it is disgusting. I was there. I'm proud of it. I was there. Okay, and I've seen what happened. We've got everything on the video. And when the police, when the news media said that we attacked the police, that we were talking that the 5G transmits the virus, that we were violent, it's absolutely untrue. Nobody from this group is saying that 5G transmits virus. But
exactly.
But we are worried. We are worried, and we have rights to ask questions, okay?
100%. They're deliberately planting fake stories in the media, hoping the truth movement will pick up on it and report it as fact. Beware. Thank you for joining me, Les.
Thank you. People, it's only one way. If we don't wake up, we have no hope. Like I think Benjamin Franklin said, the people who give their rights away for a little bit of safety don't deserve rights, and they don't deserve safety.
Remember, you were all cannon fodder too for the elites. Just remember that. And have a look what's in the vaccine. For your kids' sake. This was only a job.
The police presence is overkill down here for a peaceful protest. The public are trying to raise awareness to the dangers of vaccines,
At the end of the day, you're all cannon fodder.
but we're met with hostility from police force. Joining me is Jack, down here at the peaceful protest Millions march against mandatory vaccines. Thanks for joining me, Jack.
No worries, Jeff.
So what is your main concern about vaccinations and the effect it'll take on the community?
I hate vaccinations at the moment. Like, I've been reading into it, and like the ingredients that are in there, I don't want that in my system. And if it's forced upon me, it's going to be a completely different scenario, because like if this does end up being where you need a forced vaccination to go back to work or even leave the country, it's going to get ugly. Like real bad.
Absolutely. It's playing Russian roulette with people's lives, injecting toxic filth, and you don't know the consequences that are going to arise from it, some of which can be fatal, can't they?
Yes. I mean, like, I've had hundreds of people, like not hundreds, but my friends tell me, vaccines are pretty safe and they've done the research behind it. But there is also research that proves that they are unhealthy as well. And it's that information that we're trying to get across to these people that believe so much that vaccines work. And it's just, like, they're pushing for a vaccine at the moment. I mean, Bill Gates and the WHO, they're pushing it as hard as they can without actually, like, doing any medical practice about it. And Bill Gates, I mean, come on, he's not even a doctor. Yes. He's a software designer.
Absolutely.
He has millions and billions of dollars, but that doesn't mean his advice is any different from, like, an engineer or a bloody, like, I don't know, just...
That's right. He has no...
like me.
Yeah, exactly. He should have no authority over people's lives and well-being. He's obviously taken on the role as a medical doctor, which he clearly is not. He's been linked to eugenics, as with his parents. Depopulation is his goal, Agenda 21. And if you look into some of the footage, he's even slipped up and admitted that, hasn't he?
He has. He's said on multiple occasions, like, we're just trying to depopulate, we're just going to get vaccines and stick in kids. We don't care the outcome. That's all they want. And I mean, this vaccine at the moment is rumoured to have nanotechnology in it by, like, a microchip that is the size, like, I think it's about 1/100th the size of a grain of rice, which is, like, incredible. We didn't even know that this kind of stuff existed, but it does to them because we're not part of their lives. So of course they're going to have this brilliant technology that no one knows about, because it's all under their hoods. Like, they know everything about it. We know nothing. There's no transparency. And when we ask for transparency, it's not there. And that's just all we want. And we know that they're lying about it because, like, there's no transparency.
That's exactly right, Jack. The people deserve much better. I appreciate you attending this event. We need more people to raise awareness of the dangers and the tyranny that's to come. A lot more. Yeah. All right.
We need everyone.
Thank you. All right.